What's up, everybody? Welcome back to HK Horsemanship. Haley here, and this is my Tennessee Walker, Frank. Today, I'm going to show you the first thing I do before I teach a horse how to work at Liberty. The activity is called step matching, and basically the goal of this is to get the horse to where they're so in tune to you that they follow your footfalls wherever you go. So if you speed up, they speed up. If you slow down, you slow down. But the first step to getting your horse to follow your footsteps is for you to follow their footsteps. I'm going to show you guys what I mean. See, here's my feet and here's Frank's feet. So I'm going to step off, and whenever I step off, I'm going to get him to step off, and I'm going to start, instead of having him match my footsteps, I'm going to follow his footsteps. So we're going to walk off. So there's his footsteps. And so I'm following his footsteps. So when his left hoof goes forward, my left foot goes forward. When his right hoof goes forward, my right foot goes forward. Now, as you can see, he's licking and chewing. And it can be kind of hard sometimes, especially if your horse has a particularly long or short stride. Frank has a pretty long stride, so it can be kind of hard to keep up sometimes. But the important thing is that you just pay super close attention, because how can you expect your horse to pay attention to you if you're not paying attention to your horse? Basically, once you've done a whole lot of that, then you can start adding in like the speed transitions and stuff. And when your horse is really hooked onto you, which this typically happens within a session, maybe it won't for you, and that's okay. But whenever your horse gets hooked onto you to where you can tell that they're just like moving in sync with you and you're moving in sync with them, then you can try to see if they'll match your steps. So just try slowing down a little bit or speeding up a little bit. And if they don't immediately match on, that's okay. But what you're going to do is you're just going to add a little bit of lead rope pressure so that they'll, like, if you're going faster, they'll speed up, because you'll add a little bit of lead rope pressure and show them the answer. So we're going to try some speed control stuff. So I'm going to ask him to speed up a little bit, because by speeding up my own feet. Now, Frank and I have done this a lot. We've done a lot of actual Liberty work. Sorry, it's really hard to see. We've done a lot of actual Liberty work, so he's pretty good at this. But typically it does take horses a little bit of time to learn it. So I'm just going to speed up a little bit. I'm going to cluck. And as you can see, his feet are speeding up with my feet. And so he was a little off there. Didn't quite get the timing right. So I added a little halter pressure. And now he's in sync. And now I'm going to slow my feet down. And as you can see, when I slowed my feet, now I'm pushing forward a little bit. When I slowed my feet, he slowed his feet too. Sorry, my arm's in the way. But yeah, there you go. Now I'm going to stop. And that was very good. He took a step back. That's what you want. You want your horse to respect your space so that when you stop and they take a step forward, they know to put that foot back where it was before to respect your space. And once you guys get really good at this, you can start taking off the lead rope and seeing how they do it completely at Liberty. So like I said before, Frank and I do Liberty a lot, so he's going to be better at it than a horse that, let's say, just started it for the first time. But I'll show you what it's going to look like when your horse is able to hook on to you completely at Liberty. The first steps for getting your horse to hook on once you take off the lead rope is making sure that they stay up with you instead of falling behind. Frank used to really struggle with this, and then I started clicker training. So basically, when he steps off with me, I'll give him a click and give him a treat. That seemed to really help a lot. But also, you can do that with your horse, but you don't have to. You could also use like a dressage whip or something like that to like tap him on the shoulder. That thing didn't exactly work for Frank, but clicker training did. So that's good. Just figure out what works for your horse. But also the most important thing is that you're paying attention to yourself and your body language. So basically, if you want your horse to step up with you, you have to make your movements more excited. Like, come on, step up, step up. And also when you want your horse to trot or gait off with you, you're going to want to do some sort of movement with your body to where they know what it is. So it could just be like, obviously you're going to like jog off, but before you jog off, I suggest you do something to almost get them excited for it. So like personally, I have a background in some showmanship stuff. So what I do is I sort of like prepare like I'm gonna do a showmanship run in a showmanship class. So basically I kind of like crouch down a little bit and kind of do like a smooth like jog off thing where it looks like I'm about to take off into a showmanship class. Kind of hard to explain. But basically just make sure that you're building up your energy, because if you're not building your energy, your horse is not going to build their energy. So I'm going to take Frank's lead rope off and we'll see if he'll join up with me. Sometimes it takes a minute, but typically he's pretty good about it. All right, so as you can see, there's our feet right there. And if your horse doesn't join up with you right away, like if they don't step off when you step off, it's okay to kind of like pull on the halter a little bit like that. That's why I typically like to do Liberty with the halter on, so there's something that's keeping a hold of them. All right, let's see how it goes. So I like to give a little cluck to signal, hey, we're walking off, and sometimes I like to turn into him a little bit. So as you can see, I'm kind of like turning into his nose, like pushing him off a little bit, because he can't just stand there, obviously, if I'm pushing him. There we go. And as you can see, his steps are locking onto mine, but I'm not necessarily wanting his steps to lock perfectly in sync with mine. I'm more having him step off and having my steps match him. Honestly, like, the problem with Liberty work, I think, is like something that I used to think when I first started doing it was that it was all about, oh, the horse has to match me. But actually, what's even more important is you matching your horse, because you're the leader in this relationship. And so you have to show them where to go, what to do. And whenever they learn to trust you and hook onto you, then they'll start matching your steps too. Let's do a stop right here. Good boy. Good boy. So I'm going to show you a couple clips of how you would begin teaching your horse to trot off with you. And these Frank didn't exactly, he's a walking horse, he gaits. He didn't quite get up into his gait, but I still rewarded him because you could tell he was about to, he was trying. That's another important thing. You have to reward the little steps, because one of my issues initially when teaching Liberty is I thought like, oh, I have to get the trot off right now. But actually, you have to reward the little things in order to show the horse what it means to trot off, what you're actually trying to get them to do. So in these videos, you can see I'm kind of doing like a little crouchy type run thing. It's not very pretty, but the point is that I'm basically showing him, I'm bringing my energy up so that his energy will come up and match mine. So for anyone who's interested in the like the clicker training aspect of all this, I'll show you a couple clips of how I use clicker training to teach Liberty. So basically, got my clicker right here, it's attached to my wrist, and I've got a little pouch of treats in my pocket. So basically what I do is whenever he gives me a behavior that's good, so even if that's as simple as just stepping up with me, like walking off with me, or maybe like when I'm asking him to speed up a little bit, he speeds up the tiniest bit, I'm going to click and give him a reward, and that's what's going to teach him to be totally hooked on to me, the positive reinforcement there. So I'm going to ask him to walk off now, and because he walked up, I'm going to do a click. That was actually a little late on the timing. And give him treats. Also, the treats I use is literally just grain. I just give him like probably this amount of grain every time he does something good, so I don't sugar him up too much. So we're gonna ask him to walk off. Come on, Frankie. Good boy. So hook and treats. So I'm a little ahead of him right now, so I'm going to ask him to step up with me. I'm going to cluck and increase my energy. And he's good. So give him a click and give him some treats. And if they start getting mouthy with you, I think I've talked about this a little bit in some of my other videos. Just do this. You have your finger right here. Let them kind of run into their own pressure like that. It'll teach them real quick, make it their idea not to run into your space. So we'll see if I can get a gate off. So you see, I'm increasing my feet. I'm crouching down a little bit. I know you can't really see that, but you can see the way my knees are bending. Clucking, a little kiss, and there we go. Good boy. So I'm gonna reward that. I technically should have clicked earlier, like as soon as he started into it. So I'll see if we can do that again. So, and again, building the energy. Once again, sorry for the terrible filming job. It's kind of hard to film yourself sometimes. A lot of multitasking. Click. Energy up. And click. Right away, click. There. Good boy, Frankie. So now I'm going to turn around. And when I turn around, I'm going to do it nice and slow. I'm not going to rush. I don't want to speed things up too much. So now I'm ahead of him, so I'm going to ask him to step up by kind of bringing my energy up a little bit without actually going any faster. So, like, just going to kind of crouch a little bit. Good boy. He stepped up. Once again, sorry for the terrible filming job. I hope you were still able to understand everything pretty well. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. And whoop, thanks so much for watching.
Subscribe now and hit that notification bell with your paw.